Welcome to our tips and tricks webinar. Today we're talking professional teacher portfolios. So from an educator perspective, being able to create your own professional portfolio. And we have some great resources in this area. So when you're really thinking about your professional portfolio, consider it in a very similar way that you do with your student portfolios. It's a great place to track your goals, to document those goals, and then we'll talk a lot about today how you collect evidence to show the different activities and things that you're doing that's helping you get closer to accomplishing those goals. Your professional development and learning. So not only tracking that you participated in a professional development session, but then what are you doing to actually apply that learning, and what were some of your key takeaways, and being able to have those all in one place so that you can reference them easily is a great way to utilize your professional portfolio. Experiences that you have around your work as a professional and documenting those. And then also reflection, which is big with those student portfolios, but also with that professional portfolio, being able to say, I tried something new. I tried this new lesson. I tried this new approach. Why didn't it work? What would I change? What was successful? Being able to have that documented, not only for those professional learning communities where you could share some of that out really easily, or to be able to have within your meetings with your supervisors to be able to say, look at the kinds of things I'm doing. Because we all know if you don't start to track those things throughout your year and you try to do it the week before your evaluation meeting, you forget all of those different things that you have done, those small little learns that really could bring light to you as a professional in your practice. Just as our students, if they're not creating their portfolios and documenting some of the things along the way, and just at the end of the year, they go, oh, what are those projects that I did? They forget so much important stuff as it goes along. So let's dive into some of our resources. I really want to highlight one in particular today. We have created a Making Professional Growth Visible. This is a guide to help you really think about how to do that goal setting and collect evidence of those goals. So this is just a great starting in terms of if you're going to introduce this to teachers or to a staff, a guide to kind of help you use this resource. If you are a teacher, this bulb collection is a great self-paced piece to really talk you through what does that professional growth look like? What does that evidence look like? So in here, we're really talking about how do you create a full picture of the classroom learning environment, and what are those things that you need to be thinking about? So the rest of the pages really talk about how can you create videos to showcase you in the classroom? What kind of things are you wanting to pull from a data perspective? Taking photos and making photos, not just, hey, this was fun thing we did in class, which a lot of us take photos of, but is there some photos that you could take of actual work or things that really showcase something directly related to your goals? Using our audio file record feature to be able to actually speak a reflection or give some context to maybe a lesson or something that you did, and then being able to create, and word art could be one way to be able to do that. It also emphasizes, as we talked about, documenting those experiences throughout the year makes for a much more rich and powerful portfolio. And it doesn't take a lot of time if you just allocate a small amount of time. Maybe it's the last Friday of every month, it's 30 minutes to an hour to go and add something in there, something on a regular basis. You'll start to create that flow. And then in the end, that portfolio doesn't seem daunting at all. You've had a lot of that work, or at least some basic components, and then you can do some polishing later on. So creating videos in that learning environment, short observations, they're a great way to provide that glimpse into your classroom of something that's going on. There's some options of some different tools that are recommended to help you with the editing of a short video there. Data. So all of us maybe look at data and go, oh, what's important to collect? What are we, what are we trying to do? I like the suggestion around adding surveys, being able to get some of that information, and what does that say and how does that bring insight? Even talking about how you utilize some of the data. If you're presented with some of your testing data, what are the things that you're looking for? What are the things that matter to you changing or adjusting your practice or adjusting your approach with students based on that data? There's a bunch of resources in here. We won't be able to go through all of them today, but showing growth with your photos, being able to use the image carousel to catch learning in action, and being able to caption it well to tell us, what is this saying? Is it showing engagement? Is it showing student ownership? What is going on here? And using that caption to help us better understand what you're trying to convey with the particular picture and what we can glean from that as well. Interviews are always fun. Doing a quick interview with an audio file or a quick video on a phone and asking students or other coworkers some interview questions. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't even have to be formal. It'd be a quick, hey, do you feel like I know when the class understands something and when the class does not? What are some of those basic questions? That's a great feedback tool for you. And then that would be wonderful to put in your portfolio to capture and see if that changes over time as you make adjustments in your practice as well. And then always remember to help us make connections in that. So meaning, if I'm going to ask a question and I get some feedback and then I change my practice and I adjust and make a change in how I do things, maybe it's how I start class or what I have posted up on the front board, then do that follow-up. If that has changed in a positive direction, let us know, hey, I made this change. This is how those two relate. So help us make those connection points within your page and that evidence within your portfolio. So this was kind of a cool idea, creating word art to show growth over time. You'll use each letter to represent your journey for one part of the year. So if your goal is completed in different months, starting at the beginning of the school year, and then revisiting that along the way to kind of see how, and I can make that bigger so you can see a little bit more of that. What a great way for you to kind of revisit and really with those visual images. Bulb is very visual and that triggers very specific things in your mind, not only for you, but also people that you're sharing your portfolio with. So think about it from that perspective. I'm going to show you one other quick resource that might be really helpful, especially for those of you who are heading into the summertime and maybe doing a conference or doing some kind of training over the summer. We talked about capturing your professional development, and we have a template in our library just for a conference session. So don't just like we don't want students to take a class and then forget everything that's going on. What are kind of those key things that you want to make sure stays with you? You can capture that conference and that learning journey through this template, your title, your presenter, your contact, what was the session about, what were some of the links and resources that you want to make sure, if they had a PowerPoint presentation or links out to certain things that you want to make sure that you can easily get back to again. And then how, from that reflection piece, thinking about some of these key questions, how would you assess yourself in these areas that the session talked about? will this session help contribute to you achieving one or more of your goals? And so if so, then you can link this page to that goal page when you talk about the evidence and say, I took this session and I learned these things, and this is going to help me start to work on trying to achieve those goals. Any notes or resources that will be helpful. You can do some additional notes, key takeaways, or is there any action steps that came out of there? So this is a great template and kind of guiding you in that thinking and really making that conference session impactful. Okay, I want to move into just looking at an actual example. I think that's always helpful. So just showing kind of from the resume view for those of you who have been creating your portfolios and haven't seen the digital resume, it is an incredible feature. Professionals can create their resumes. You don't have to just be looking for a job to create a resume. A resume is a great way for you help you keep track of your practice as a professional. And I think it'll also help you think about the things that you want to put in that professional portfolio. So Casey has a great About Me page. She lists her experiences here and then talks about, well, what is a digital learning coach? And what does she do with that? Has a page about her past classroom experience. And then she has pages in her portfolio about her different certifications and programs that she's involved in, her awards and achievements. Some professional goals here, and she puts her goals out, and this is what we're going to dive into a bunch today. Some leadership roles, professional development led, professional learning. So when we take a look at one of these goals, now this is all content that's created within her portfolio. Now she has her goals all in place, and what a great story. So here are her goals. To coach at least 3 educators to be intentional or adding differentiation to their digital learning design in a blended and remote learning environment. Right, and she uses the SMART model to create that goal. Here are her action steps. She's embedded some tweets around how she has been communicating and kind of supporting that goal. And then she has an entire page called Evidence for Growth. And she's actually putting documents of things that she's done that supports that goal and things that she's created, gives us a little bit overview of collaboration with coaches and district leaders and what she was focused on, has some links out to some additional folders with some more workflows and resources that she's created. So if you're creating things for lessons and stuff, you can embed or link that evidence. Talks about this educator support with some pictures on the math curriculum that they were working on. And then actually just took screenshots of some of the math content that they created and put that in a carousel. And additional resources as well. So what a great documentation of her goals and the evidence that goes along with that. And then she did a really cool thing. She has an entire page around celebrations. What are the big things that she's celebrating that she thinks were kind of the big wins from this year as well? So some content creation, a heritage project, Apple pencils for the 5th graders in there. Well, I hope that you are inspired in what a professional portfolio can develop into and what a beneficial tool that can be for you and for your teams. And I hope that you got a chance to review some of these resources, and we'll send these out and put these in the comments for you to be able to use, or you can always search them up in our resource library as well, our resource center, to help you build your professional portfolio. Thanks.